When adding electrical loads to existing circuits, it is essential to follow a systematic approach to ensure safety and prevent overload. A comprehensive analysis involves several key steps. Firstly, perform an initial assessment to estimate the load of the existing circuit based on the appliances and fixtures currently connected. This involves identifying each device and determining its power consumption in watts or amps. Secondly, gather information from the customer about how they typically use the branch circuit. Understanding their usage patterns, such as the simultaneous use of multiple devices, is crucial for accurate load estimation. Thirdly, calculate the total load capacity of the circuit using the circuit breaker or fuse amp rating. This rating indicates the maximum current the circuit can safely handle. Fourthly, compare the estimated load to the circuit capacity. If the estimated load exceeds the capacity, a new circuit may be necessary to prevent overloads. Fifthly, consider potential future additions that may increase the load on the circuit. Planning for future needs ensures the circuit can accommodate additional devices without becoming overloaded. After the analysis, you will make a decision based on your findings. If the estimated load is within the circuit capacity and future needs are unlikely, you may consider adding the new fixture to the existing circuit. However, if the estimated load exceeds the circuit capacity or future needs are likely, you should run a new circuit to handle the additional load safely and prevent overloads. The time spent on analysis is typically considered part of the overall project cost and included in the labor estimate. Detailed analysis helps ensure that the installation is code compliant and safe, reducing potential risks and callbacks. To simplify the analysis process, consider using a load calculation tool or software. These tools can help you quickly and accurately estimate the load in the circuit. Also, consider using arc fault circuit interrupter, abbreviated as FSIs, or ground fault circuit interrupter, abbreviated as GFCIs, breakers for added protection. These breakers can help prevent electrical fires and shock hazards. Educate the customer about the importance of circuit capacity and the potential consequences of overloading. This helps them understand the need for safe electrical practices. It is important to document your analysis and findings for future reference. This documentation can be helpful if you need to make changes to the circuit in the future. When estimating the load, be sure to account for the continuous and non-continuous loads in the circuit. Continuous loads are those that operate for 3 I/Os or more at a time, while non-continuous loads are those that operate for less than 3 I/Os at a time. The National Electrical Code, abbreviated as NEC, requires that continuous loads be derated to 125% of their nameplate rating. For example, if you have a continuous load of 10 amps, you would need to account for 12.5 amps in your load calculation. Also, be sure to consider the voltage drop in the circuit. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs as electricity travels through a wire. Excessive voltage drop can cause appliances to operate inefficiently and can even damage them. The NEC specifies the maximum allowable voltage drop for branch circuits and feeders. When running a new circuit, be sure to use the correct size wire for the ampacity of the circuit. The NEC specifies the minimum wire size for various ampacities. Using undersized wire can cause the wire to overheat and create a fire hazard. Also, be sure to properly ground the new circuit. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect people from electrical shock. The NEC specifies the requirements for grounding electrical systems. When adding a new receptacle to an existing circuit, be sure to use a receptacle that is rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit. Using an incorrectly rated receptacle can create a fire hazard. Also, be sure to properly wire the receptacle. Incorrect wiring can cause the receptacle to malfunction and can even create a shock hazard. When adding a new lighting fixture to an existing circuit, be sure to use a fixture that is rated for the voltage and wattage of the circuit. Using an incorrectly rated fixture can create a fire hazard. Also, be sure to properly wire the fixture. Incorrect wiring can cause the fixture to malfunction and can even create a shock hazard. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to avoid injury. Remember to always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. This will help to prevent electrical shock. Also, be sure to use insulated tools when working with electricity. Insulated tools will help to protect you from electrical shock. When working with electricity, it is important to follow all safety precautions. By following these precautions, you can help to prevent electrical accidents. Consider the long-term implications of your decisions. While adding a load to an existing circuit might seem like the quickest and cheapest option, it could lead to problems down the road if the circuit becomes overloaded. Running a new circuit might be more expensive upfront, but it could save you money and headaches in the long run. Remember that the NEC is a minimum standard. You may need to exceed the requirements of the NEC to ensure safety and reliability. For example, you might want to use a larger wire size than required by the NEC to reduce voltage drop. Stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it is important to be aware of the latest changes to ensure that your work is code compliant. Consider attending continuing education courses on electrical safety and code compliance. These courses can help you stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and learn about new technologies and techniques. Remember that electrical work is not a DIY project. If you are not qualified to do electrical work, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to avoid injury. Also, make sure the customer understands the limitations of the existing electrical system. Explain to them that adding too many loads to a circuit can cause a circuit breaker to trip or even create a fire hazard. Document all changes you make to the electrical system. This documentation can be helpful for future reference and can also be required by local building codes. Consider using a surge protector to protect sensitive electronic equipment from power surges. Power surges can damage electronic equipment, and a surge protector can help to prevent this damage. Before making any changes to an electrical system, obtain the necessary permits from your local building department. Permits are required for most electrical work, and they help to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with local codes. When working on an electrical system, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses, gloves, and hearing protection. Personal protective equipment can help to protect you from electrical shock, burns, and other injuries. After completing any electrical work, test the system to ensure that it is working properly. Testing can help to identify any problems with the system and can prevent potential hazards. Remember to always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical equipment. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about how to install and use the equipment safely. Consider using energy-efficient lighting and appliances. Energy-efficient products can save you money on your electric bill and can also help to reduce your carbon footprint. When disposing of old electrical equipment, recycle it properly. Recycling electrical equipment helps to conserve resources and prevents harmful materials from ending up in landfills. Consider using a home energy monitor to track your energy consumption. A home energy monitor can help you identify ways to save energy and money. Remember that electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following these tips, you can help to keep yourself and others safe from electrical hazards. Electrical codes and regulations are in place for a reason. Ignoring them can have serious consequences, including fires, injuries, and even death. When evaluating an existing circuit, check the condition of the wiring and connections. Look for signs of damage, such as frayed wires, loose connections, or corrosion. Damaged wiring and connections can create a fire hazard. Also, check the condition of the circuit breaker or fuse. Make sure it is the correct size for the circuit and that it is functioning properly. A malfunctioning circuit breaker or fuse can fail to protect the circuit from overloads. Consider the type of load you are adding to the circuit. Some loads, such as motors and appliances with heating elements, can draw a large amount of current when they start up. This inrush current can overload the circuit, even if the normal operating current is within the circuit's capacity. If you are adding a load with a high inrush current, you may need to run a new circuit or install a device to limit the inrush current. Be aware of the potential for harmonics in electrical systems. Harmonics are distortions of the electrical waveform that can be caused by electronic devices such as computers and fluorescent lights. Harmonics can cause overheating of wiring and equipment, and they can also interfere with the operation of other devices. If you suspect that harmonics are present in an electrical system, you may need to install a harmonic filter. Consider the impact of the new load in the overall electrical system. Adding a large load to an existing system can strain the system and can even cause voltage drops in other parts of the system. If you are adding a significant load, you may need to upgrade the service entrance or other parts of the electrical system. Consult with a qualified electrician to determine the best way to handle the additional load. They can assess the existing system and recommend the appropriate upgrades. Always err on the side of caution when it comes to electrical safety. If you are unsure about something, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. Electricity is a powerful force, and it should be treated with respect. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that you are adding electrical loads to existing circuits safely and in compliance with the NEC. This will help to protect yourself, your customers, and your property from electrical hazards. Remember, a thorough analysis and careful planning are essential for any electrical project.